Guys, I was featured in Business Insider, and I just want to say I'm extremely happy about it. I recently made a post about how I was featured in Business Insider on my YouTube channel, and I wanted to make an official video just talking about it, and how it happened, the reason why they reached out to me. So, if you have not been following my series, I have two series going on titled I Was Laid Off as a Data Engineer, where I would give monthly updates about my interview process and things I'm doing in order to get a new job. After 6 months, I was finally able to land a new job and doing the same thing as a data engineer, but making more money with more benefits. So I want to say that, hey, I took 6 months to get a better position. And I also had a series titled Studying for the Meta Data Engineering Interview. So I had those two series going on, and they reached out to me and said, hey, we saw your video about you going on and studying for the Meta Data Engineer job interview. Can you tell us about it? And I said, sure, I can tell you about it. They asked me all the qualifying information, like, hey, what time period did this happen? Who were the people that you interviewed with? How was the interview process? How did it go? And they wrote an article about it. So today I just want to go over some of the article with you guys and hit some of the key points that I see. I'm going to be sharing a little bit of the article. So if you do want to read this article, I will put a link to the article in the description. But you probably will need a Business Insider subscription. And I think that if you have certain, like, I think Apple News, if you have Apple News, I believe you get Business Insider as well, at least at the time of this recording. So we're gonna go ahead and get into. I'm gonna share my screen. So this is it right here. It is from Business Insider. It says I'm a data engineer who passed Meta's phone interview and failed the technical round. Here's what I should have done differently. Now, um, I'm glad because this title has changed. When the title first came up, it was like I failed the Meta interview. And I was like, okay, I think I like this one a little bit better. It's more like not just like I failed, but more so like, hey, this is how you can study for it and improve yourself. So it's a little bit more helpful to people, I think. But yeah, I created the series on my YouTube channel simply because I thought it would help other people who may be going through a meta interview. And then, it could be good content. Some people could find it entertaining. So, in the article right here, we're gonna be kind of like I'm gonna be reading some of it and then giving my commentary on it, and then we can go from there. But yeah, shout out to Tess Martinelli for writing this article. I could not have done it without you, quite literally. Thank you so much. And then also Caleb McClinton for taking this picture. This picture of me at Render ATL. This was in 2024 Render ATL. This is in like the main lobby. So they have the summary says after his technical interview, William Orgetrice was rejected from a data engineering role at Meta. He prepared with practice questions and mock interviews, but wished he had studied differently. He said the Meta portal is useful, but practice questions are much easier than the real ones. And yeah, that's just my own opinion on it. I think that the interview questions weren't actually too hard. It was just like a lot of them, and you really needed to practice. because there was six interview questions that you needed to answer, three Python questions and three SQL questions, and man, that's a lot to have to go through within the allotted time. This as told to essay is based on a conversation with William Orgetrice, a 29-year-old data engineer in Atlanta, about his meta interview. It's been edited for length and clarity. Now I will say this, man. I'm 29 years old, man. I really gotta run it up right now because I'm trying to hit that 30 under 30. But this is my last year before I can hit that 30 under 30. But yeah, so let's see. So it says, I received an email from one of Meta's recruiters in March asking me to apply for a data engineering position. The recruiter said they found my LinkedIn profile and thought I had the experience they were looking for, which is true, right? The timing couldn't have been more perfect. I just received the news I was going to be laid off from my data engineering job at a staffing agency with an official end date of April 1st, right? So April Fool's Day. I made a video about me getting laid off the same day I got laid off. And that same day I went to a networking event that I paid like $150 to go to that networking event. And I gained 2 or 3 connections from it. So I can't say it was uneventful, but it definitely it was definitely a good networking event, and it did have some results. It just was very expensive. So April 1st, so I was newly re-entered into the job hunt. I successfully made it through Meta's preliminary phone screening and spent 2 weeks preparing for the next round. And see, the thing about it is that with Meta, they allow for you to take up a large amount of time. So you could take off like a month if you wanted to before, like, just to practice. And probably even longer. There was really no pressure at all for me to finish the interview or go through the interview process. Like, it almost seemed as though they were like, oh yeah, we want you, we like you. Take as much time as you possibly want, because it's academically challenging in order to do these interviews, right? Like, these coding interviews is academically difficult. Like, cognitively, it takes you a lot of time to be able to even understand a lot of the concepts. So yeah, I said I'm proud of myself for making it to the second round. But if I couldn't do it, if I could do it over again, I would take a different approach. Since I was notified that I passed the first round of interviews at Meta right away, and yeah, that's how it was. I went through the phone screening, and that's true for any coding interview process, right? You do the phone screening. They just trying to see if you're interested in the role. They may ask you some questions about your experience that they'll see on your resume, and then after they ask you those questions, they can assess if they like you or not, if you would be a good fit for the role. So they thought I would be a good fit for the role. They thought I had enough experience. At the time, I had 5 years. Now I have 6 years of experience. So it is, and also it makes the point that it's going to be, the position was at the Menlo Park office in California, so close to the Bay Area. And it was a really nice location. Really nice location for Meta's main headquarters. And yeah, it makes that point here. And I just want to make one more point. So the mock interviews, yes. So the mock interviews. So if you watch the series that I made for the Meta, studying for the Meta job interview, I got a software engineer from Amazon and the president of Technologies of Color to do mock interviews with me and record it. Thankfully, we were able to do it, and not only did I get a Business Insider article written about me, but then also Ramel Bailey, the Amazon software engineer, got a Business Insider article written about him and his business. So it all worked out for everyone, right? So this is this was really cool. We did a mock interview. I recorded it. We went through like the technical aspect of things with Ramel, and then with Jonathan Exum, the president of Technologies Color, we went over more of the behavioral type of interview process. So you can see both sides of the coin when it comes to coding interviews. And I think that was a really helpful point in the series. And I think that's really helpful for a lot of people who are trying to go and apply to one of these top tech companies, top FANG companies. Overall, this has been a great experience. And I'm going to tell you guys is whenever I talk about like my accomplishments and things like of that nature, I always tell people like, oh yeah, I was featured in Business Insider, one of the major news publications, and they wrote an article about me about my YouTube channel and the things that I was doing to help others to be able to better prepare and get a job in tech. So really just me giving off genuine advice to people. But if you found this to be interesting, I will leave the link in the chat, or I will leave the link in the description for everybody. So that way you can, read it and, tell me what you think about it. Overall, this was a great experience. I definitely will be using it in like my material for my business to say, hey, I was featured in Business Insider, and you can read the article here. But if you enjoyed this, please go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and also hit that bell notification icon if you want to be notified whenever I make new videos on YouTube. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you all in the next one. Do not forget to build your billions.